and see how it illuminates our understanding of the cosmos.
Verse 5 of the Bereshit tells us, "And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night."
But what does the Orphic theogony have to say? Will it perhaps illuminate us further in our examination?
"Behold the son of Aether, the firstborn, Protogonos, the shining one, Phaethon, who by his nature illumines everything and was the first to appear in the Aether. Witness his 4 eyes looking everywhere and marvel at his 4 horns. Behold his golden wings which flutter all about. He bellows like a massive bull and roars like a lion."
Both Phánis from the Orphic tradition and the God of the Torah, striking similarities in their representations, emerge, bridging narratives across cultures and time. In the Torah, God is often symbolized through visions and appearances that transcend human form, capturing divine majesty and power. Similarly, Phánis, with his celestial attributes, embodies elements that echo the esoteric depictions of divinity in the Western tradition. Consider the horns of the bull, a symbol of strength and a nod to the primitive power of creation itself. The horns are a recurring motif, not just with Phánis, known for his formidable presence, but also within the multi-faced descriptions of angels in biblical narratives, suggesting a shared understanding of divine authority and might. In Ezekiel chapter 1, verses 9 to 10. This is the first and most detailed description of the tetramorph. Ezekiel sees 4 living creatures, each with 4 faces: man, lion, ox, and eagle.
Each one's wings touched those of the other. They did not turn when they moved. Each could move in the direction of any of its faces. Each of them had a human face at the front. Each of the 4 had the face of a lion on the right. Each of the 4 had the face of an ox on the left, and each of the 4 had the face of an eagle at the back.
The roar of the lion with Phánis evokes the regal, commanding voice of God as referenced in the Torah. Powerful, unyielding, and omnipresent. This imagery parallels how divine commands shape the universe, resonating deeply within esoteric interpretations where the lion often signifies the king of celestial order.
Judah is a lion's cub. "From the prey, my son, you have gone up. He stooped down, he crouched as a lion and as a lioness. Who dares rouse him?" Genesis chapter 49, verse 9.
Phánis's golden wings, reminiscent of an eagle's, suggest soaring freedom and the binding force of divine watchfulness, much like the protective wings found in the Torah's descriptions of cherubim. These winged guardians appear across many esoteric traditions as intermediaries between humanity and the divine.
Like an eagle that stirs up its nest, that hovers over its young, he spread his wings and caught them. He carried them on his pinions. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 11.
Finally, in the likeness of man, Phánis's form is emblematic of the anthropomorphic vision of God. The likeness of man symbolizes divine accessibility and understanding, reinforcing the concept of humanity made in the image of God, a theme pervasive in the mystical elements of Western esotericism. There is also the first example of duality within man himself, the polarity of gender between male and female, which are fully encapsulated in Phánis, who is an androgen containing all parts of that polarity. This will come to be evident in our future explorations.
So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. Genesis chapter 1, verse 27.
Such vivid imagery not only bridges the two traditions, but enhances our understanding of how ancient cultures envisioned the divine. A dazzling interplay of might, majesty, and mystery. Both the Orphic theogony and the Genesis creation story depict the emergence of light and the separation of elements. In Genesis, God divides light from darkness, creating the day and the night. Similarly, Phánis's birth causes the separation of Aether and the chasm, differentiating the primordial unity into the multiplicity of the cosmos. But the question remains, why? Why did this being look upon a unity of elements and decide that separation and division was necessary? We have no answer to the why, simply that it has occurred, and from a unified field of elemental materia, the many myriad forms began to pour forth from the tension between light and dark. The Genesis narrative speaks of God seeing the light as good, while in the Orphic tradition, Phánis's light is described as a grand, mysterious force, visible only to his daughter, Nyx. This highlights a deeper philosophical idea. Only through the existence of night can we truly understand light.
He is Erikapaios, both male and female, who harbours in his heart blind and swift Eros. He is Metis, the progenitor of the gods, who call him the revealer and firstborn. He is the one with the mighty voice, Bromios. He is all-seeing, Panoptes, Zeus. He can be seen only by his daughter, but his effulgent light shining in the aether draws wonder for those who behold it, illuminating the world with great brilliance.
Perhaps most revealing is the way in which the fragment here describes who can see this light. For we see light in our own world via the sun and the moon and the stars, but this light is something far more mysterious, far grander in its scope. It is the light that bears light, the first light, visible only in the distinction made by his own daughter, Night, or Nyx. This of course speaks to the division between realms, in which his daughter Nyx is both the nexus by which the realm of Phánis and the next realm, the realm and reign of Nyx, is connected. Only Nyx can see her father's light, because only she can see his brilliant light, only she can look into his realm. It is through her cave of darkness that Zeus will need to venture to solidify his reign. Could it also speak to the more primal distinction that only through the existence of night can we truly understand the existence of light? We see in Phánis like the Elohim, the divine council of deities in the Torah. He is the progenitor of distinction, of separation, of the exploding of unity into the myriad of forms that will come to be in this grand emanation of being.
Now Phánis caused many things to occur. He built an everlasting dwelling for the immortal gods. He brought forth the moon, which gods call Selene, and mortals call Mena, with mountains, cities, and mansions. And for the ephemeral beings, he made a world separate from the immortals, with natural laws and a sun as their lord, neither too cold nor too hot, but appropriate for their needs. These things he, Erikapaios, the first king, made from his seat in the misty darkness of the cave, Antron, of his daughter Nyx.
As the primordial Demiurge, Phánis gets to work, crafting an everlasting dwelling for the immortal gods. He brings forth the moon, mountains, and cities, creating a separate realm for mortals, existing in the bright blue heavens, the aether. This is the creation of the first cosmos in its entirety. It's the divine blueprint that each successive cosmos will follow, much like Genesis, where God creates the expanse to separate the waters and continues creating based upon the foundation of these first few distinctions. Phánis's act of creation is echoed in Genesis, suggesting a shared cosmic narrative across different cultures, despite their theological differences.
God said, "Let there be an expanse in the midst of the water, that it may separate water from water." God made the expanse, and it separated the water which was below the expanse from the water which was above the expanse. And it was so. God called the expanse sky. And there was evening and there was morning, a second day.
Light in both narratives symbolizes knowledge, consciousness, and spiritual awakening. Phánis, as the Shining One, brings order out of chaos, just as the light in Genesis marks the beginning of time and the underlying structure of the cosmos. By comparing these stories, we see a harmony between polytheistic and monotheistic traditions. Perhaps there is more similarity than there is difference. Perhaps by seeing these similarities clearly by the light of Phánis that our modern discourse can turn from vitriolic to unified in love. After all, we are all made in the image of this demiurgic creator, regardless of the name or label we attach to it. It's a reminder that these ancient stories, despite their differences, can offer a unified vision of our origins and give us a clear understanding of how we might behave to create a more beautiful and shining world. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Phánis, the first king, and his parallels to the Genesis creation story. If you enjoyed this deep dive into mythology, please like, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your insights and questions. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll explore the reign of Nyx, Phánis' daughter, and her role in the cosmic narrative. Until next time, keep exploring the mysteries of the past.